Good day everyone, so hope you're all doing really well. Let's talk a bit about the Genshin Impact 5.4 main event, and this was in Inazuma. I know I'm a bit late to a party on this because I'm busy IRL, but I have to speak about it because Inazuma is my favorite region. And in a nutshell, I can honestly say I think what a lot of people might see as a filler patch for me was really a very interesting event because I got more world building, I got more character interactions, and that is the good stuff. That's the type of things that I like in Genshin, and I just wish they would have had this event be a bit more extensive, running for a bit of a longer period. But regardless, I mean, I think I got a couple of good things out of it. The biggest negative about this event was the fact that the JP voice actor for Kokomi kind of put her own voice acting. Well, she kind of took the pitch and she just lowered it a few notches, and I liked the original sounding voice, so I don't know really what was happening there, but regardless we got a bit more lore, and I kind of like the idea that Watatsumi Island might potentially create their own little bathhouse to promote more tourism, and you can definitely see the economy in Watatsumi Island is starting to pick up if they're starting to consider some of these things. And this is the one thing that I think I will criticize the event on as well, is the fact that you've had the story where every contestant had a game, or the contestants had to build games, and you ultimately had to be the judge, and then the winning game would get a sponsorship from the Yamiko publishing house. And the question now is, could it have been possible to have made that player choice permanent somehow in the game after the event? Because that would have been so cool. Imagine you said, hey, like I did, I support the Kokomi and Yume Mizuki's event where you had to jump with the little Yaimiko and her fox form platforming event. Imagine that concept then became a sort of permanent end game in your world, and there was then a follow-up quest after the event that related to how that affects like Kokomi and Yume Mizuki's business, and that would have been really cool. That would have been fully, like, that would have made the event a 10 out of 10. And if people didn't play the event, then perhaps you could have had some sort of default to say, hey, there was this event in Inazuma and this type of team won, or something like that, or allow a player just to then choose which one they want to add permanently to the game. I don't know, there are a bazillion ways you can cut it, but the games were interesting. I liked Thomas one as well, the little tennis event. That was really cool, and it's one of those fun events where if they made it more difficult, or they add like more what do you call it, like gameplay elements, it could be really fun. It could be like a very high skilled event where you'd have to consider it, like trading off, am I going to run here, which type of balls do I need to hit, how am I going to avoid. That's the fun kind of stuff. So I'm very happy with those two events, and then the all games. And then the last game with Sayu was in the beginning super confusing for me. I got it at the end, but it just felt very slow paced, and it's almost like I want more action, I want more thinking, I want to use my characters more. So it was a bit of a bland one, if I'm going to be really honest. But yeah, for the rest of the event, I liked the story. I liked the fact that we had to fight with the Raiden Shogun in the plane of Euphemia. Unfortunately, Genshin did the clever thing by forcing you not to have your own characters in it, so you can't really break out of the boundaries of the plane of Euphemia, which was kind of a bit sad to me. I know there is a way to do it, but to get those glitches and stuff, I just didn't have the time to perform it. But I know there is a way in which you can take the traveler and you can swap it out of your actual character, and then you can move on. It's just, yeah. But regardless, I did have a bit of fun for the short time period that I had to play with it. I changed the sky. I used a mod to have Kokomi and Raiden Shogun fight together. There's lots of cool things you can do in that regard. And yeah, overall the story itself was also pretty good. We had the nightmare theme that was going on. We had a bit more lore drops with the yokai and stuff. It really was. I kind of like these sorts of things because Inazuma as a world I hold dear, so the more lore we can get, the more history we can get, especially with Raiden Shogun referring back to what happened to all of her friends way back when, and just knowing that she had to kill one of her own friends because that friend went berserk, and now the one horn had like an effect 500 years later. It's a pretty cool story. It's a pretty well written and decent story, and for me, it didn't feel like filler. It just felt like, yeah, this is the type of thing that I would have liked to see more and more of in Genshin Impact. These short stories where you integrate more of the cast that you love is just so good. And the fact that we didn't have, apart from Chiori right at the end, nobody from Inazuma, no one from Leeway to Boveros, no one from Natlan, just the usual Inazuma cast with Kirara's voice actor obviously playing as one of the, I think, the Nuki. If you put it in JP, it's kind of cool to see that. Just having the majority of the Inazuma cast taking part, that's awesome. That's all that I've ever wanted from this. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of it. I was very, very happy, and I also felt that with Yume Mizuki coming to the party, she fitted really nicely into the Inazuma cast. So it's going to be another year that we have to wait before we get some many more good juicy stuff, and especially because people like me are drowned for Kokomi content. But at least this was very, very satisfactory, although the Japanese voice acting for Kokomi did kind of catch me off guard for a bit. Regardless, let me know what you think. Cheers.